Hey, Dr. Ziegenberg, you are Head of Legal and Regulatory Affairs at BVMed, also the Deputy General Manager. You have, of course, a large and extended experience in the medical devices sector, hold a PhD on medical sciences, have been working for quite some time also in the industry, have also experience at the competent authorities, let's say, perspective in Liechtenstein, and now already for some years, of course, you are now in that position at the BVMed, and we are very happy now to welcome you, and we will be listening now to your speech, and now that platform is yours, Dr. Ziegenberg. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Spitzenberger, for that introduction. I'm also very, very happy to present the industry perspective of the MDR today. I will short. This is just agreed from the legal department. And I want to start my presentation with a really short overview about BVMed itself. We are an industry association with more than 230 members, and we focus on, let's say, three main topics. We promote and represent the combined interests of the medical technology industry and also trade companies. We have various working groups, over 60 committees for our members to share information and to exchange and the dialogue. We represent the concerns of our members to policymakers and also the public in general. And of course, we offer advice and trainings for member companies, but also for all interest companies. I'm absolutely not here to hire members, but if you are curious, you're invited to go to our website, and I copied the link in the slides. I guess you will get the slides in afterwards, so you can just surf around our website. I also added the link if you want to get more information about how to get to become a member. But I will just start with the really topic of our of my presentation. You probably know or have seen this slide. The history of the medical device regulation is even older than the first date I put in here in the slide. Due to, you all know, due to scandals and incidences in the medtech sector, in the previous 2000, the former Commissioner Dalli set up the Dalli Plan, and this Dalli Plan was also, it includes also the complete reconstruction of the medical device legislative. After a long and stony path with intense discussion with the European Commission, with the member states in the Parliament and the Council, the MDR entered into force in May 2017. There were two corrigenda 2019. I don't know if you see my mouse, so yeah, I show it in the slide, but I'm not sure if you
We can see it. We can
okay,
see it.
great.
Yes, thank you so much. We can see it.
Great. We had two corrigenda. The first one was just a corrigenda by its mean. And the second corrigendum changed the scope of the grace period in Article 120. It extended the Article 120 to all Class 1 devices that conformity assessment under the MDR needs a notified body and would be up-classified. And really up to date, I entered the third corrigendum that was published just 2 days before, with also some spelling corrigenda and in the different languages. Due to the Corona pandemic, the date of application was moved from May 2020 to 2021. So 3 weeks ago, we started the system, and this means that because of the fact that the grace period did not change, this period was shortened up to 3 years. And Mrs. Hoyer did already mention the upcoming wave within this time point, but I will come to this later on. And we have sales periods 1 year after the end of the grace period, where the products within this grace period are able to be sold. So we have from now on, from date of application until the end of the grace period, the possibility to have the so-called legacy products on the market. These are mentioned here, but we also do have, not really a lot, but we do have already MDR compliant medical devices on the market. From this date on, the date of application, Class 1 medical devices have to be compliant with the MDR, because they have no transition period. Well, nevertheless, there are a lot of construction sites, and I put in this slide a few really big construction sites. Also, Mrs. Hoyer did mention the number and capacities of notified bodies, and especially the topic of remote audits. As I mentioned before, there is no grandfathering. So every single device that is going to be put on the market under the MDR has to be has to undergo a new conformity assessment and a certification process, even if the product is on the market for years or decades, probably without any major incidences or so on. We do not have exemption procedure for orphan devices, so products for a very small population are regulated like every other device. With the point innovations, I will close up to the point that Mr. Putsivoka mentioned. The problem that due to the fact that all let's say old products has to be recertified and renewed. There is probably a shift of innovation outside the EU. The point regarding the MDCG guidelines, also Mrs. Hoyer mentioned before, there are really a lot of MDCG guidelines out there, but some really important are still missing, and of course they are inconsistent. They do not have a really the same qualitative level, and they sometimes go even beyond the MDR requirements. I mentioned the grace period also before. There are a lot of certificates that have to be shifted into the MDR. And last but not least, the evergreen, I have to say it's an evergreen, the European database, BVMed. I will come to the single points in deeper, and I will just want to focus now on the next few slides on the notified bodies. On this slide, you see the decrease of notified bodies within time, and as you can see, from 2012 and 13 on, the number decreased significantly. This is due to the fact that in 2013 there was a Commission implementing regulation concerning the designation and the supervision of notified bodies, and there was a new system implemented that not only the designating authority in the specific member state is responsible for the assessment of the notified body, but also two other member states, EU member states, and the Commission. They perform a joint assessment, and this process is, as you can guess, even longer as before, and also more complicated. But it was the goal to harmonize the quality of all notified bodies in Europe. With the date of application, the number of notified bodies under the directives is decreased to the number of 0, because they lost their possibility to or their notification to certify under the directives. We have today 20 notified bodies under the MDR. I just read that a new notified body was notified, but not under the MDR, but under the IVDR. So we have in total, we have 25 notified bodies under the MDR and the IVDR. When we compare this with the official data of the European Commission, you see that there are 52 applications within the notification process, and 40 of them did already complete for 40 of them, the on-site joint assessment was completed. We are waiting for 3 more notifications in the upcoming, I don't know, days, weeks, because 23 for 23 bodies, the MDCG recommendation is still there. But to come back to the bottleneck and the wave Mrs. Hoyer mentioned, you see on the right side the expiring CE certificates for each year, and in 2024 there are about 10,000 certificates to be shifted to that have to be shifted into the MDR. On the left side, we see that we have 181 certificates issued so far. There are about 10 times this number open applications at the notified bodies, but in total there are about 17,000 certificates that are CE certificates and the quality management certificates that have to be changed and brought up to the MDR. So we face a really big bottleneck, especially by the end of the grace period, and even the notified bodies did increase their staff by I think by the factor of 4. That's my latest information. There is the big question if the resources are sufficient to transfer these medical device certificates into the MDR. The burden for the medtech companies are really big to comply with all requirements, and it's especially it was also mentioned by Mr. Scalzo. The medtech industry is mainly driven by SMEs. We have 39% SMEs, and they create 57% of the gross value added, and they are employer of almost 70% of the medtech workforce. To be clear, the burden of the requirements are high for the whole sector, but it's SMEs are especially hit very hard. SMEs and also startups that do not have the regulatory departments for complying with all requirements. I just want to come very short to harmonized standards within the topic of the bureaucratic burden. Harmonized standards, it was also mentioned before, are really necessary, especially because they come with the presumption of conformity. When you comply with the standards, with harmonized standards, the presumption of conformity is a big help for manufacturers within the certification process. The first harmonization mandate was rejected by the harmonization bodies, the European bodies, but there is new hope. The harmonization, the second harmonization request was adopted in mid of May, and the committees, the technical committees of the European standard organizations are already working on the harmonization. So it's the next step would be the positive vote from the HAS consultants. And we all hope that the harmonized standards will be available as soon as possible. Let me come to the big topic, BVMed. You all know perhaps the principle of the database. It's built up of different modules, and we have as a base for every other module the registration of economic operators. This picture, which was built up with the information of the European Commission, is, let me say, the old version, and in general, the MDR says it's BVMed has to be declared for fully functional. And in December 2020, the first module was made available because the Commission, in alignment with the MDCG, decided to have a stepped approach to publish the modules when they are available. So we have the different modules. I have to you have to be aware that these dates that are mentioned here in the slide are not the current ones. It's a information of MedTech Europe from September 2020, but I took the picture because it's very it shows the different modules and the sets that are going to be published. The actual and current dates I will show in the next slide. So we have the actor registration module, and then we have a module set concerning products and notified bodies. And then we have a second set for vigilance and market surveillance, and also clinical investigation and performance studies. The latest information from the European Commission was in April, and there you can see that the different modules, so the actor registration, the device registration, and the certificates will be so the device and the certification modules will be available probably in September 2021, and the vigilance in later on. And the fully functional BVMed will be, I hope so, in end of 2022. So it the target date has changed, and it will be a minimum viable product. The question is, what does this mean? What's this minimum viable product, and will there be that there are a lot of questions still there. As Mrs. Hoyer mentioned, also questions with the PSUR and the other things that has to be uploaded in the BVMed, and so we will have to follow this topic and look forward for notices and information from the European Commission. We have, as I mentioned before, one module available. It's the actor registration module, and when you go on the website, you can search for operators. There are. I put in the numbers of from 2 days before. There are in the European Union there are over 4,000 manufacturers, about 600 authorized representatives, almost 1,500 importers, and 144 system and procedure pack producers registered in the database, and I put also the numbers for Germany. Germany is a little bit of a special thing, because the Ministry of Health announced shortly after the publication of the module that it will be not possible to register as a economic operator until the date of application of MDR. So the first registrations stopped immediately, and they were possible again on the date of application. And the announcement I just put here in the slide the link where you can find the official announcement in the Bundesanzeiger, there which regulates the transitional period until BVMed is fully functional. And there are unfortunately there are a lot of question marks raising up within this announcement, rather to clarify the things, because the ministry just allows the registration of manufacturers, EC reps and importers, but not system and procedure pack producers, and also custom-made devices. They are not possible to register, and this could be due to legal reasons they mention, but this is this is therefore a problem, because the products has to be entered afterwards, and you just can enter products or upload data of products
Ich glaube, jetzt gibt es ein Problem mit der Übertragung, oder ist das nur bei mir der Fall, Frau Ziegenberg?
Economic operator. But I'm, do you hear me?
Jetzt wieder ja. Gerade waren Sie nur für eine wenige Sekunden tatsächlich nicht so gut zu hören, aber jetzt sind Sie wieder da, denke ich.
Okay.
Klasse.
So we will clarify this as a association with the BMG. That's the plan to have these question marks solved. To come to the end of my presentation, I just want to have an overview of the complete regulations, to show you the bureaucratic burden of the new legislative thing. We have the old systems, so the directives with the mentioned articles and annexes and pages that were transposed in the national law, the Medizinproduktegesetz, and the ordinances within this MPG. From 26 May on, we have the MDR with a lot of more articles, annexes, and pages, and also in addition to that, the national law, the Medizinprodukte-Durchführungsgesetz, and the ordinances. There were a few ordinances were modified, and there are also new ones. And of course, we have implementing acts and delegated acts under the MDR, and of course, not legally binding, but recommended harmonized standards and MDCG guidelines. This should just show you the complexity of the whole topic and the really burden that, as I mentioned, Mr. Butzewoka just said in the beginning. The startups or SMEs are not really possible to meet all these requirements. We also made a questionnaire for within our members regarding the additional costs of the MDR, and I just want to show you these numbers, because 96% of the companies had an investment between 1 and 10 million euros, and this is not a one-time or initial investment, but a continuous investment. And you see that there are financial investments, but also investments in staff. And this is what Mrs. Heuer, I guess, could also tell, that there is a really lack of staff, because the notified bodies are looking for new staff, the companies are looking for new staff, and also the competent authorities are looking for new staff to fulfill all their requirements. Well, this is of course my really last slide. I just summarized some information and links for you. If you are looking for general information, or the implementation rolling plan of the Commission, guidelines, work in progress, or the notified bodies, and also our MDR portal. So if you look for specific information, you can find it probably here. And if there are any questions afterwards, as Mr. Spitzenberger mentioned, I'm unfortunately not able to join the panel discussion. So I put in here my contact data, and you're invited to contact me directly if there are any questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ziegenberg, for your perfect contribution and for all the data that you provided. which are quite dramatic, to be frank, and which show how many challenges still exist with regard to the implementation of all the requirements of the MDR. This was really very, very informative, and thank you so much. We know that you're really full of obligations, and therefore we especially appreciate your contribution for today. Thank you so much again. I don't know, do you still have 2-3 minutes for maybe 1-2 aspects that we could discuss very quickly? So maybe we can quickly address the question of the SMEs. You said it's really a critical factor. SMEs are an important part of the industry, but they are those that are, let's say, somehow most punished with regard to all the requirements. What will be needed, to your opinion, to strengthen the capacities to comply with the new regulations? What could be done? Let's say, I mean, it's a problem, but how can we solve it? What can be offered? What could be options?
I think there should be pragmatic solutions for the transition of the directive products to the MDR products. And of course, the pandemic situation with the missing audits is also really hard. A progress with regards to remote audits would be very helpful.
All right, yeah.
But I think the main points are the pragmatic solutions for the existing products, and also pragmatic solutions for example, post-market surveillance activities, gathering clinical data for products that are not really that have probably less clinical data. So this is a really burden for SMEs to gather all this clinical data, especially because it's really hard or even impossible to create clinical data with out of studies, because you don't find investigators that are interested, because it's not attractive to investigate, to have a clinical trial with a product that is on the market for decades. And even it's problematic to get positive votes of ethical committees for these studies. So that we would need data, for example, out of registers that are going to be that are accepted by notified bodies and authorities. And also the harmonized approach for all the MDCG guidelines, for example.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is that there also Mrs. Hoyer did mention that the communication and the discussion with the specific notified body would be the first approach to reach these goals.
Thank you. One more thing, you mentioned the aspect of innovation, and also the factor with regard to the orphan devices. And you mentioned the problem or the potential that there could be a shift of innovation outside the European Union. Can you say, from your point of view as BVMed representative, that these aspects, let's say, already are progressing, or are actually already moving on, or what is your impression? So I mean,
Well, we hear from our members, to be honest, I can't present real data because it's not possible to get concrete or specific data of companies that are going to phase out some products because it's a competitive situation. It's always hard to get these numbers. But we hear and we know from our members that they already phased out a lot of products, and they will phase out a lot of products within the grace period. And because of the new certification and conformity assessments of the existing products, a lot of staff was moved from, for example, F&E departments to the regulatory departments. So we know that there is some products were stopped or hold on to get the existing products into the MDR.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Ziegenberg, again. You kindly offered your contact data, so we will be able to contact you with further comments or questions regarding your really excellent presentation later on again. We wish you a good day ahead. Thank you so much again for your presentation and contribution, and we keep in touch, and we'll now move on. Thank you again, Dr.
Thank
Ziegenberg.
you also.